You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Mai Rodriguez. It has been 16 months since Russia invaded Ukraine. And now Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says relevant counteroffensive and defensive actions are taking place in his nation, marking the start of a much anticipated campaign to regain swaths of territory taken by Russian forces. Ukraine's army says it has regained control of a frontline village. Our source today, Chargé the Affairs Denys Mykhailiuk of the Ukraine Embassy in Manila. Good morning. Welcome to the Philippines.
Good morning, May. Thank you for having me here. And I take this opportunity to congratulate Philippines on the Independence Day.
I understand you will be taking part in today's celebrations of our 125th Independence Day anniversary in Manila, and also this is a business trip for you. Tell us more about that.
Yes, definitely. It's a business trip. I'm invited to the celebration in the Presidential Palace. I look forward to participate in the celebration and might have the possibility to thank the President of the Philippines for the support and help to our country in the international fora, and also would like to extend the invitation for another phone call with the President Zelensky. We look forward for it. As well, I will be taking this opportunity of being here for 3 days to meet the government officials and members of parliament.
Well, speaking of the war, words aren't enough to express how sorry we are for what's happening in your country. Almost 500 days since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Would you say at this point, is the war far from over?
The war is far from over because we had just launched the offensive operation. We won the winter campaign and the Russian offensive drive was destroyed. Now we are in summer, and we hope we'll regain control of the temporarily occupied territories. It's 15% of our territory. Russian forces is desperate and they feel that they cannot keep control, and that's why they do awful atrocities and war crimes, such as the exploding of the Kakhovka Dam, which is the biggest man-made disaster after the Chernobyl catastrophe in 1986. The consequences of this disaster will be felt by the whole planet for decades. It definitely will interrupt some food production, it will change the irrigation systems, and hundreds of people lost their houses and even lives.
Yes, thousands have been affected by the destruction of that dam. Tell us more about this tragedy. What is the situation there now?
The percentage of the floodings in the Kherson region is 60%. The water is now going down, but the evacuation efforts were not enabled by the Russian occupying forces on the temporarily occupied territories, and there are even facts that the people who were trying to escape from the flooded areas, civilians, were shot to death by the Russian forces. Lots of deaths reported. Loss of the property is enormous. If before the explosion of the dam the direct losses of Ukraine due to the war was 411 billion USD, we can estimate that we can double this figure now.
Well, aside from the devastation in that region, what are the other challenges that you are encountering at this point?
We need help for those people who are affected. It's 80 cities and villages flooded completely, and more than 20,000 people have to be evacuated. We need fresh water, we need water pumps, we need all humanitarian assistance we can get immediately. And we need the statements from the governments of the world condemning the atrocities and the war crimes by Russian Federation. What else do we need? We need our support during this offensive operation, and we need any help and assistance from the free world.
Well, did Ukraine ask the Philippines in particular for assistance for the Nova Kakhovka Dam tragedy, and also for any assistance in the war?
Yes, definitely. We addressed every government and the Filipino government as well to get the water pumps, to get fresh water, to get filters, to get boats to evacuate people. The next step should be the medical equipment and dwellings, easily constructed dwellings for those who evacuated from the areas which are flooded.
Well, what about peace negotiations? Is Ukraine willing to sit down with Russia to end this invasion at this point in time? And can China, do you think China can mediate?
I don't think China can mediate. China was silent for the whole year, and they have a peace proposal which is under consideration by everybody, but it's not the position to the peace negotiations right now. Ukrainian precondition is the liberation of our territories, because as soon as we liberate every single village, we can find the mass graves, the specially established torture rooms, and other atrocities. So we have to liberate all our territories and liberate all of our citizens. Russia is not ready for negotiations now too, because their precondition is the destruction of Ukraine, surrendering of the occupied territories to Russia, and actually giving them time to prepare to another war to destroy our country. So I think that the room for any talks will appear after this summer campaign.
Okay, any update on plans to set up an embassy here in Manila? Is that possible this year?
I do hope so, and we actually asked for the time for the possible visit of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Philippines, and I hope that his visit might be to open, the goal of this visit might be to open the embassy here. In the beginning it might be a small mission, but anyways it's much better than to cover from Kuala Lumpur like I'm doing now.
Okay, thank you so much for dropping by here, joining us in the studio. We will be praying for Ukraine, and of course any help and assistance from the free world is welcome.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the Philippines nation.
Okay, thank you. Chargé d'Affaires Denys Mykhailiuk of the Ukraine Embassy in Manila. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Maya Rodriguez. You're watching CNN Philippines.